Most people around the world are employees, not business owners. Not everyone wants to start a company, and many people simply never get the right opportunity to do so.
So the reality is that most of us rely on a monthly salary to build our lives.
As an employee, your income can grow over time depending on your skills and experience. In Europe, if you become an expert in your field, earning around 4,000 euros per month is a realistic number. It might not sound like a huge amount, but for many people around the world, that level of income is actually a dream. However, when it comes to bigger goals like buying a car or owning an apartment, that salary suddenly doesn't feel like enough. If you want to earn 6,000 or 7,000 euros per month in Europe, you usually need to be in a management role or have many years of experience in the tech industry. Even professions like doctors or professors can reach that level, but getting there takes a lot of time, effort, and dedication. So in this video, I want to answer a simple but very important question. Is it actually possible to buy both a car and your own apartment with a salary of 4,000 euros per month? And instead of just talking about it, I want to break it down with simple numbers so you can clearly see how it works. Some people believe that buying an apartment is not worth it and prefer renting instead. That's a different discussion, and I'm not here to convince you one way or the other.
In this video, I want to show you how it's possible to achieve if you decide to go for it. Let's start with a simple calculation.
We assume you earn 4,000 euros per month before tax. In countries like Finland, taxes are relatively high, so you might pay around 1,300 euros in taxes. That leaves you with approximately 2,700 euros per month as your net income. Now let's talk about expenses. If you live alone, you can rent a small studio apartment in Helsinki for around 700 euros per month. That's a reasonable estimate for a basic but comfortable place. For food and groceries, if you cook most of your meals at home, you can manage with around 500 euros per month. Eating outside regularly will increase that number significantly, so cooking is a key factor here. Then we have other necessary expenses. Things like insurance, phone bills, internet, transportation, electricity, and water can add up to around 250 euros. On top of that, you might spend another 250 euros on shopping, hobbies, or entertainment.
So in total, your monthly expenses would be around 1,700 euros.
That means you have roughly 1,000 euros left every month that you can save. In some months, if you control your spending better or live more simply, you might even save up to 1,200 or 1,400 euros.
This is not a theory. I've personally been in that situation and know how it's possible.
Now let's talk about buying a car. There are many options at different price levels, but my advice is simple. Avoid very old cars, because they might be cheaper at the beginning, but will cost you more in maintenance later. Try to choose something reliable that is not older than 6 or 7 years. Also, with this level of income, it's not a good idea to go for expensive brands like BMW or Mercedes-Benz. You can afford them on paper, but the maintenance, insurance, and unexpected costs will put pressure on your budget. A smarter choice is to aim for a car in the range of 15,000 to 20,000 euros. That gives you a good balance between quality and affordability. But here is the most important point. Do not buy the car using loans if you can avoid it. If you finance a 20,000 euro car, you might end up paying 3,000 to 4,000 euros extra in interest. That's money you could have saved or invested elsewhere. So instead, save first and buy later. If you save around 1,000 euros per month, it will take you roughly 20 months to reach 20,000 euros. That's less than 2 years. In some cases, if you save more aggressively, you can do it even faster. So after about 1.5 to 2 years, you can own your car completely. Not a luxury car, but a solid and reliable one. Yes, it takes time. But if you don't approach it seriously, life becomes even more difficult financially. Another important advice is to be careful with credit cards. They can be useful, but in many cases, they push you to spend money you don't actually have.
Unless you are using credit strategically and can pay it back fully, it's better to avoid it. Now let's move to a bigger goal, buying an apartment. This is definitely more challenging than buying a car. But the good news is that in most countries, including Finland, you can get a loan for the first time.
Usually, you need around 10% of the apartment price as a down payment. Let's say you want to buy a decent apartment for around 250,000 euros. That means you need at least 25,000 euros as your initial payment. Now, based on our previous calculation, if you save around 1,000 euros per month, it will take you about 2 to 2.5 years to reach that amount.
Once you have that, you can apply for a housing loan. And here is where things start to change. Instead of paying rent every month, you start paying installments for your own property.
The money you pay is no longer just an expense. It becomes part of your investment. Of course, there are still costs like interest, maintenance, and other fees. But in the long term, you are building something that belongs to you. And that's a big difference. Now let's be realistic. This journey is not easy and it's not fast. It requires discipline, patience, and consistency. You need to control your expenses, avoid unnecessary debt, and stay focused on your goals. Unless you start a very successful business and make a lot of money quickly, this is the path for most people. Step by step, month by month, saving, improving, and moving forward. And if you combine this approach with improving your skills over time, like learning programming, growing in your career, and increasing your salary, you can make this journey even faster.
At the end of the day, it's not about how fast you get there. It's about whether you are moving in the right direction. Because with the right plan and consistency, even normal salary can help you build a stable and secure life.